Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm coming to you from my back porch because, well, my husband and I are both working and both doing audible things, and my stuff can come outside and his cannot. So here I am, but today I've got another fun Dollar Tree fall DIY video for you. I don't know about you, but with the fall decor, I enjoy using lots of pumpkins. So I've got pumpkins of different varieties here for you in today's video. Let's get started. All right, so for this first one, I'm using this wood block cube from the Dollar Tree. As you can see, I have previously used it for a DIY, and I tend to take apart my DIYs and redo them. Not all of them, but I make a lot because of this channel. So I'm just pulling off the stickers. I'm gonna sand it down. Obviously, you wouldn't have to do this if you just get a brand new one, but just wanted to show you that that can be done. And I'm giving it a base coat of Waverly chalk paint in the color ink. Now, my thought behind that was a dark color would cover up like more of the imperfections, but what I wasn't thinking through was that the orange paint I'm going to be using in today's video is in acrylic paint by Apple Barrel, which is a good color, a good paint, but it is a lot thinner than chalk paint, so it took a lot of coats of orange to cover up this black. I was thinking about ordering from another company and trying out some new paint, but I'm going to end up just going to Walmart and picking up some more of their pumpkin I ran out last year. It's a good paint, it's a good color, and it has good coverage. But believe it or not, I ended up getting this little guy here covered. But basically, you're going to take a wood cube and paint it orange or any color of your choice. I'm not partial to just orange pumpkins. But after many coats, we're going to go in with some antique wax. And I'm just going to really dry brush this with a chippy brush just to, you know, I like the different shapes for the pumpkins, but I did want to still kind of give it a little bit of dimension and kind of soften it up and, I don't know, give it more texture. So I'm just kind of going over that. And then I want a stem for this. So I am using a tumbling tower block from the Tumbling Tower game from Dollar Tree, and my miter saw, handsaw, I don't know, is that what this is called? Miter saw box, and I'm going to cut that down. I just eyeballed it, I didn't measure it, and we're just going to cut that down to the size that I want, smooth it off with some sandpaper, and then I wanted to color this, and I'm going to use one of these furniture markers, or furniture repair markers. This is from the Dollar Tree. It came with, I think, in 3 different shades. You could also use antique wax or brown paint or leave it natural, but I wanted to do this, so that's what I'm doing. But this is another great option instead of like stain, and like I said, they came in 3 different shades in a pack from Dollar Tree, so not very expensive at all. Now I'm going in with some Gorilla Glue and some hot glue to glue my stem on. And I knew this, but I didn't think this through. I know that it's harder to glue on waxed items, but I was thinking it was very little wax, the antique wax. Anyways, I had a hard time getting this to stay. You'll see in just a second. And then I'm using, I know people have called this pit berries. That's probably the proper term for this berry. But I think at Dollar Tree, this bundle is called Berry Garland. And they have it in different colors at different times of the year. I'm wrapping it around a paintbrush to just get some little curly cues. And then I was trying to twist it around. This stem came off a couple of times. I'm peeling off the hot glue, trying it again. Basically, I think I ended up just using the Gorilla Glue, and it eventually does hold, but yeah, it's hard to use hot glue when you've got something with some wax on it. And that's all I did for this one. I thought this was really cute, and it's not very big, but it's nice to kind of like mix in with other pumpkins. We have different shapes and sizes and stuff. Speaking of, here's another item. This is from the Dollar Tree. This was not originally that color. I had painted this previously and decided it would make a cute pumpkin. So we're going to paint it again. And I am mixing up my colors. Once again, I am using just Apple Barrel paint. If I had had the base of the chalk paint in orange, then this would have been better. But it actually didn't take too many coats. And I'm mixing up a yellow, brown, orange. Is that it? Yeah. Until I got this. I wanted more of a, like a pumpkin color. Does that make sense? Anyways, and I go on this pretty thick, but not too thick because I didn't want it to puddle in those little spaces and be hard to dry. And then I'm going to dry it with my heat gun so I can set it down and paint the rest. Now these little ceramic decorative balls, I think is what they're called. Dollar Tree had them many different times. They've had them in like their summer Shores Living line. They've had them just in their regular decor, and they come in different patterns or textures, I guess you could say, but they're all kind of round. So I'm sure you could find something similar. And I did a couple coats of that, and I love this color. It's kind of like a terracotta, kind of, but a little bit deeper. Anyways, I'm going in again with dry brushing with the antique wax, and that'll kind of just emphasize on the ridges. And then I did kind of go like long ways, you'll see in here a second, trying to make it a little bit darker in a couple spots, almost like the ridges of a pumpkin. There I am doing it. It's not super noticeable, but it was just a little bit to give it a little bit, I feel like I say the same words all the time, but like maybe a little more dimension. Anyways, we're going to put that on. And then for the stem on this one, I am taking one of these wood pieces from a pack from the Dollar Tree. I've had them forever, and I'm just cutting off a little bit of that. I hope the noise is okay, guys, because like I'm literally outside while I'm doing this voiceover. So I was showing you a bag of like scraps that I just keep, a lot of like little leaves off of things, and I just save them, and I'm pulling them out here, giving them a trim, and these are going to be our leaves for this pumpkin. And yep, still trimming it off. And I'm going to glue the tips together here, just, don't burn yourself, but I didn't want the leaves to just lay flat when I glued them down, so curving them, like pinching the bottoms like that, just kind of made them sit up a little bit more. And then I'm going to glue one side down, so you can kind of see that here as it's sticking up. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I enjoy sharing budget-friendly DIYs here on this channel, not just Dollar Tree, but all sorts of different budget-friendly DIYs. Sometimes it's thrifting, sometimes it's clearance finds, but I hope that you consider subscribing before you leave and join my little tiny YouTube family. All right, so more of the glues. This one worked a little bit better. And I just held that down, and then I wanted to add on a little bit of moss, so I'm putting that around the front and the back. This will also add more glue to kind of hold it down, and I'm going to add it in the front and the back, and then I tuck a little bit under the leaves as well to just kind of help it all blend in and keep the leaves sticking up. So I'm doing 3 pumpkins in today's video, but they're all very different. I had a 4th one, but that's going to have to be for another video because I was having trouble figuring out how to complete what vision I had in my head. The glues were not working. So stay tuned. That'll be in another one. If it comes out the way I think it will, though, it's going to be really cute. So anyways, and then I decided I probably could have done this beforehand, but I'm going in with a tiny bit of antique wax on the leaves. I just didn't want them to look so shiny and plasticky. So I didn't really do a specific pattern, just kind of dirtied them up. And this is how this one turned out. And again, very happy with this one. I use a lot of pumpkins. And in my book, you can't have too many pumpkins when it comes to fall decorating. So for this next one, we're going to use this sign. This is from the Dollar Tree, and frankly, I thought this was pretty cute as is, so we're going to DIY the back and make this a double-sided sign because that one was super cute. I like that it said autumn. I like the traditional colors on it. I like the scarecrow. So we're just going to do the other side. And I'm just using my heat gun to help me get this sticker off. That just kind of loosens up some of the stickerness, that's not a thing, adhesive. And then I'm using a sandpaper to rough up the rest because it did leave some sticky residue behind. And then I'm going to go in with some Waverly chalk paint in the color white and paint the back of this. So I didn't go all the way to the edge because some of the brown that was like naturally on this piece kind of peeked over the edges, and I kind of like that as a border. So I am using an angle brush, and this is very much sped up. I took my time using an angle brush, and you don't have to be a painter. It's not perfect lines. It doesn't have to be perfect lines. And I just went all the way around. Also, when I was painting, I try to paint in the shape of a pumpkin, like following, so if there's any brush strokes, you're like following the curves of the pumpkin, if that makes sense. I did 2 coats of that. And then this is a stencil from Hobby Lobby, $1.99 for 2 stencils. I picked this up last year or the year before, and I'm sure I didn't pay full price, but even $1.99 is not too bad. So definitely look into some stencils. I actually think I'm going to go and see if there's any new ones this year. And I'm going to stencil, and here is my inspiration. I saw this on Pinterest. I'm not really trying to mimic it exactly, but I loved the layers of leaves, the different colors, and so that's what we're going with. So in between each one, this one I went a little too heavy on the paint. It had a tiny bit of bleed through, and I thought about starting all over, sanding it and painting it again. Sorry, my head's getting in the way. But I was like, just go with it, Leanne. It's probably going to be fine. And it was. So I'm showing you, I keep some baby wipes with my craft area, and I'm cleaning them off immediately so the paint doesn't dry. And then I'm using my heat gun to dry the leaves in between so I don't accidentally smudge them. You can also use a hairdryer on a cool setting, which I have done before. Well, until my hairdryer broke, and then I bought the heat gun. But you can also just wait in between, but you definitely want it to dry so you don't smear anything. So I'm going to go in with a variety of colors. I'm using more of, this is the color I just painted the last pumpkin with, and I had more of it left. So I was like, well, let's not put that to waste. And I do like the traditional colors for fall, but I also like anything that's like natural occurring in fall. And depending on where you live, maybe you didn't know that leaves do come in all colors. I'm from upstate New York originally, and we had some beautiful falls up there. If you can go to New York, go to upstate and go during fall foliage season. We would get tour buses and stuff. It's beautiful. Anyway, so you can see I'm just going to keep going with these, layering them all over. In just a second, is that not quite? Just a second, I decided to add in another color. The animals are getting loud. I don't know if you guys can hear all the birds and the insects. I won't know until I play this back. And the wind chimes are starting to go. So I'm sorry, guys. If you're looking for a super uber professional, see, there I am. I'm bringing in some red. I try to be professional what I'm showing you, but I don't have an editor, and I record and film in my real life when I have time. So I hope that you enjoy that and appreciate that. Also, if you do enjoy that and appreciate it, if you like these DIYs, please give this video a thumbs up. That helps me out so very much. It lets YouTube know that you're digging me, and they're more likely to share my videos with other people, which hugely helps me out. So as you can see, I just keep going. I'm layering some of them, overlapping them, kind of like my little inspiration picture. I'll have that link for you too. Although I think she used napkins in that blog post. It would not even stencils. So I was seriously just going off of the image. I was like, ooh, I like that. I can make that. And then I took some burnt umber as the color, and I painted the stem. And then I decided to go around the edges, which I didn't really have to do, but I did, and I started, so I finished. But not really necessary. And then I got a little bit of it on the front. Sorry, hang on. We got a plane going by. I made you guys deal with a lot of noises, but I wasn't going to do the plane. But my plan was originally to dry brush with some antique wax on this anyway. So the little bit dark edges didn't bother me, but it wouldn't have happened if I hadn't just, painted the edges because it didn't need to be painted. But it's okay. I wanted to kind of mute this down a little bit. And you can see I'm doing this in the direction of like the curves of a pumpkin as well. And then once that's dry, I'm sanding down the edges a little bit. I was trying to kind of lighten up where it accidentally got in some paint, but I was also just kind of distressing it a little bit, I suppose. Nothing over the top. And then I wanted to seal this with some Mod Podge. I actually sealed the front as well, even though I didn't do anything to it, just because some of the raised letters were wanting to like pick off a little bit. And I just was like, I'm going to throw some Mod Podge on here and seal that all in. And I'm making a little finger bow with some jute, and I know there's a way to do this with like one piece all together, but I did not have the brain power in this moment to do it that way, so I just took another little piece and tied that little loop in half. But there's lots of videos out there. If you struggle with bows at all, I wouldn't say I don't struggle with them, but I just make it happen. So tied that off, and then I'm going to use my lighter to burn off any fuzzies. You don't have to do that, but I like to do it. I also like the coloring that it kind of gives the bow in places. And we're just going to hot glue that down and trim off the little tails. I put the bow low enough that it couldn't be seen from the other side because I wanted this to be a true reversible side. So as you can see, I did not do anything to the first side, but here is the side I made over, and I love how it came out. Again, not a replica of the Pinterest find, but it was great inspiration. That is going to do it for today's video. Once again, if you liked it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you are new, and I will see you in my next video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.